You may not realize, Ian, but there's a new Star Wars movie coming out in December.
Yeah.
You forgot about it last time. It's Episode 7, The Force Awakens, which is interesting because in the promotion so far, they're kind of not really putting the Episode 7 on and just having The Force Awakens for the most part, which is interesting. Interesting strategy. So this is going to have, the original cast is going to be back in there, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, even Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca's coming back, So the first teaser was like, okay, this is interesting, what's going on. The second teaser blowed people fucking away. Like they couldn't help themselves. You know what? I was one of them. I was sold seeing this second teaser. Sold.
Here's me. I don't have a lot of investment in Star Wars, but I did watch the teaser. And I really don't. But I watched the teaser, and I wished that I could get as excited as everyone else was, because it did look good. It does. I mean, in my mind, even though I'm not, like I said, invested, that looked like what a Star Wars movie was supposed to look like.
There you have it.
It looked like what a Star Wars movie was supposed to look like, and I bet it was comforting to a lot of fans, especially like that last line where
spoilers.
Harrison, it's a fucking.
I'm kidding.
Okay, fucking teaser. When Harrison Ford says Chewie, we're home.
Yes.
I mean, that means so many different things. That's not just
we're in the movie.
Yeah, that's don't worry, guys. We've got this.
Yes.
That's at least that's what they're trying to imply.
Don't worry, guys. We're not going to fuck up like Lucas did.
Right.
He's got his billions. He's far away. Yeah. Uncle Mickey's going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what? I think subconsciously that's what people thought too. This is what I'm going to say about the trailer is that you have Mark Hamill voicing about I'm a Jedi, my sister's a Jedi. And it was interesting because people didn't realize, or they're still trying to figure out if it was just from Return of the Jedi or if he actually redid the lines. And people are debating that, whether or not he redid the lines, they just picked them out because it did sound a little bit different. Some parts. But just seeing the hand of Luke, just like, oh shit, this is Star Wars. Okay. And then, you see the Millennium Falcon, you saw it in the first teaser. But just the tone of the action and seeing real sets, seeing them seeing the new characters run in a desert with explosions.
X-Wings piloting through tunnels.
Stuff like that.
Fighting ties. I mean, that's... Right,
Fighting ties? It was, it was a feeling of not reckless abandon, but of almost like a celebration, this teaser. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because the first teaser, of course, people will say, oh, you went apeshit over the first Phantom Menace teaser in 99. Yeah, most people, or excuse me, that was 98 it came out. Yeah, most people did. But when you look back upon the reaction, you know what? Most of the reaction was to that first Star Wars teaser, seeing a double lightsaber with Darth Maul. Well, that was the big part of that teaser.
Well, I think
that people enjoyed.
I think Star Wars fans have also learned a lesson. Back then, I think Star Wars fans were probably more open to seeing something different.
Anything.
They just wanted anything, and they were open to seeing something different. They saw some cool things like snippets of the pod race and the double lightsaber and Darth Maul, and they were like, okay, we're going to do this.
Yes.
I think Star Wars fans are a lot smarter than that now.
Oh, of course. Now
the trailer is out there showing them staples of the universe they love. Stormtroopers, X-Wings, that sort
Not
of
just
thing.
that, the look and feel is of the original trilogy.
Sure.
Not just because it's an extension of that, it's whatever it's supposed to be 25 years later, or 30 years later, 35 years. First of all, it's shot on film.
Yes.
Not digital anymore. Fuck that. JJ Abrams saying, we're going for film, we're going for a grittier look. Film, we're going to do it. Obviously, models being used again. Obviously, lots of sets, not just green screen. So they're basically saying, Uncle George, go back to the basement. We're gonna do it the way we think we do it.
When they said they were doing models, and I think you're seeing some in that trailer, it made me so happy because you can look back on the original trilogy and it still looks good to this day.
The asteroid chase looks amazing still. The Return of the Jedi final space battle is absolutely outstanding.
Yep.
Absolutely. And obviously we're not saying you need a guy to take a model and move it, but make the model and then scan it at least.
Yeah.
And that'll be a hell of a lot better than having a guy, program it in and draw it in. There's people use, Peter Jackson used models and miniatures and whatever they call the bigatures, whatever they
sure.
What do they call them?
I don't know.
The full size miniature, for the statues, and it's real, it's there, it's tactile. Besides the green screen, besides a guy like JJ Abrams who's not just sitting 30 feet behind a green screen looking at his monitor yelling action and not interacting with his actors.
Right.
You know, he's an actual director. People forget that George Lucas is, first of all, he's only directed I think 4 films overall, but in between Phantom Menace and Star Wars, he directed nothing.
Yeah.
For 20 plus years. He came back rusty. He came back not knowing not knowing how to direct actors anymore. Mm-hmm. Besides that, if he knew how to direct them to begin with, who knows?
That's a lot of people will argue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that Star Wars came out of the edit. The first edit was disastrous, supposedly. Then they recut the entire film. Then there was something there.
Wow.
And thank God for John Williams knowing how to
run
an excellent score. Yes.
Well, the score is a big part of that movie.
Oh yeah, there's complete scenes of Star Wars that are available, like when he's hanging out with his friends on Tatooine, Luke, that are absolutely terrible. Thank God they cut this out.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, so the other thing about this trailer is that the characters are having fun.
Yes.
When you have the X-wing pilot going woo and feeling it, you're like, that didn't happen in the entire prequel trilogy. A moment like that.
There's a lighthearted mood to the whole thing, and I'm sure the movie is going to have dark moments and all that stuff.
Of course.
But it's not going to be this grim, dark Zack Snyder bullshit, and we'll get to that.
Well, it's not going to be some over the top, diplomatic policy framework of the prequel trilogy about a trade federation and a dispute over taxes.
Yeah.
That was the framework for the entire prequel trilogy. People forget the first lines of the scroll were about a trade dispute.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, I think in the prequel they sort of lost the plot. At least George did. That people watch Star Wars for the characters embroiled in this larger conflict. They don't give a shit about the larger conflict on its own.
Right.
It's the characters and it goes wrong with, they love the characters inside this larger universe. And that was sort of flipped for the prequel to some degree, where they try to frame the movies as this trade dispute and all the politics with the characters inside that story. Almost like a Tom Clancy, freaking story. Totally wrong. Not just that, people forget, my favorite character is Han Solo. And yes, I got a teeny bit misty-eyed seeing Harrison Ford and Chewbacca there. I don't care that they're 70 years old. I don't care that Harrison Ford... It doesn't make sense for Han Solo not to have settled down by then. I don't care.
Even I thought it was cute. I mean,
it was
very
cute.
much so. And like I said...
Wearing the same outfit. It's like your grandma wearing what she wore when she was 20. Doesn't matter.
I mean this legitimately... I'm not trying to be cynical. I really wish I could have experienced that the way a Star Wars fan experienced it, and I'm happy for Star Wars fans because that looks like it's going to be something that's going to be great for them.
Yeah.
And I'll probably see the movie. I know I will.
And this isn't a bash on the prequel, which is totally easy, but Han Solo was my favorite character. There was not one Han Solo type character in the prequel trilogy. No down to earth, roguish, devil-may-care guy doing what he wants, someone you can actually relate to. Because after all, I think Jedi Knights are boring. Jedi Knights are sexless, humorless, chaste monk knights. Yeah. That's what Jedis are.
Yeah, they're not.
They are Buddhist monks with laser swords. That's not interesting to me. I'm sorry. It's not. And it was always creepy that the prequel trilogy sort of exposed them as being a little bit arrogant and sort of, why the hell is the Republic listening to these guys in the first place?
Yeah, you're supposed to root for them.
It's almost like a theocracy. Yeah. It's almost like they're religious. It's a religious order, basically, and they're helping run the Republic. It's the whole thing, I think, on paper sounded better than how it actually played out.
Right, because the Jedi of the original trilogy were much different attitude-wise than in the prequel.
Well, there was only a few of them, but
right,
yeah.
But still, you got this sense that they were almost Zen or Taoist type masters, who were using the Force to find peace and to, ward off evil. Yeah. And in the prequel, no.
Yeah, even Yoda became sort of a dick in the prequels. He was this awesome, carefree character. Yes, he had his moments where he was serious, but even in the prequel trilogy, all of a sudden Yoda's like an idiot. Mm-hmm. He's an idiot. He can't sense anything happening. He can't sense that Anakin next to him is going to be the most evil guy. The whole it's just wacky. So yeah, people forget about that there was no Han Solo type character to sort of ground that trilogy, and what you're left with is seeing Anakin, who that's a whole other story.
Yep.
So I'm excited about Episode 7, and I'm excited about Rogue One and Episode 8 and everything going forward, because like we said before, Disney cannot afford to have another prequel trilogy. They'll lose billions of dollars. They have to not just the video games. These movies had to pump these out one, I guess, every year. They're gonna be doing it. They're gonna make their money back. And so far, knock on wood, cross your fingers, hit Ian in the head. It's gonna turn out hopefully well.